Marcus. I'm so glad that you made our session here today.
Me too. Thanks for taking time to talk with me.
Absolutely. Now, I'm thankful we have Zoom to be able to use this as a time to meet since we could not meet in person. And I see that you signed the confidentiality agreement. I'm here with it now and I see your signature. So I'm glad you were able to review that. I'm going to review it here with you in person though, before we get started. I just want to share that I am a graduate student. My name is Gabrielle, and I'm working towards the completion of my master's degree in professional counseling. I'm currently practicing counseling techniques, and therefore I will be recording this session. So it's being recorded right now, but only my professor and classmates will see the tape. The recording will be destroyed at the end of the semester. You should also know there are some limitations to my counseling. Please note that it is not possible to guarantee any specific results regarding your goals. However, together we will work to achieve the best possible results for you. So I wanted to review that. And then also you do have rights as a client, and your client rights are um, that you can refuse or request changes to any of my suggestions. And if you're not satisfied with these services, we can refer. Um, and once we have begun counseling, there's no obligation to continue. And I can help you with a referral. As I said, my services are rendered in a professional manner consistent with the ethical standards of the ACA. And please speak to my supervisor in regards to any other questions that you may have. And I'm here too. Everything we discuss will be confidential. So, but there are a couple of reasons why I would need to break confidentiality. So I want to make sure that I go over those. First, if you report child or elder abuse, I do have by law need to report that. And if you are in danger to yourself or others, I will report that. And so I just want to be clear with those. Do you have any questions on any of that?
Nope, all
Okay,
good.
all that sounds good. Awesome. Okay, so Marcus, I had a chance to review the assessment that you filled out before we began, and thank you for filling this out. I see that you are seeking counseling services from me because it says alcohol and work stress, and I just want to ask you to tell me more about that.
So I've had stress at work,
Okay,
uh, probably more so recently than in the past,
okay.
and have found myself more consistently going to alcohol
Mm,
as a way to help get rid of that stress.
okay.
And I am not thinking that's a healthy way of going about it, so hoping to find an alternative.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. So work lately has caused a lot of stress, and alcohol has been the coping mechanism that you've decided to use. Your increased use. Well, I first want to point out that you have awareness of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that hasn't been something I have done in the past. So definitely came to my attention more so through one of my buddies, and figured it's something I should probably get some help for.
Okay. So one of your friends has also influenced your use of alcohol. And has this been something that you've used to cope with stress in the past?
No, I've more so just used alcohol socially,
Okay.
and then I started doing it more so like during the week, and then it just keeps increasing and maybe spiraling.
Okay. So you are noticing your increased use of alcohol, and I'm curious what prompted you to know when it was time to reach out for help.
It was when my buddy who I trust
Mm,
mentioned something to me.
okay. Can you tell me more about that?
he approached me as somebody that I trust and is a good friend for a long time. One of the guys that I'd socially drink with, but he had mentioned he had seen some of the habits and seen some change in personality when we were together, and
Mm,
he thought it'd be something to consider. So
okay.
I didn't necessarily want to, but
Right.
here we are. Just because I trust him, and I made a promise to him that I'd at least have a conversation about it.
Mm, okay. Well, I want to point out just the strength that it takes to come to counseling. And you are here today, which shows that you have courage and that you trust those closest to you. And when they express concern for this problem, you trusted them and had the courage to come here. So I see that as a strength of yours.
Yeah, well, thanks for saying that. It's definitely a little embarrassing and hard to address, but that's kind of the place I'm at right now.
Okay. A lot of people, I want to acknowledge, a lot of people will use alcohol as a coping mechanism. And um, I'm grateful that you're here getting the help that you need now. And I want to ask, what kind of things have you done to handle this stress so far?
Meaning like before I started uh using more alcohol.
Yes, I want to know that. And I also am curious what you do once you recognize that you're drinking too much or your friend tells you that you've been drinking too much.
So I guess the first one is would try to distract myself,
Okay.
go work out, um, play video games.
Hmm.
Those didn't seem to take the mind off of it. So,
Okay.
I would maybe drink while playing a video game, and then that started to escalate. And then I was like, the drinking actually was more effective. So
I
that
see.
kind of just took it over.
Okay.
So, haven't really found a solution other than that. And
Mm,
yeah, it's more just waking up in the morning and, kind of doing it all over again.
I see. Okay. So you have found in the past, you've coped with stress by using video games and exercising. And then you've recently discovered that alcohol may be helping you cope more, but there have been some negative consequences from using that coping mechanism, which have resulted in some, oh, maybe abuse of the alcohol.
Yeah, and I even mentioned before, it's like it changes some personality.
Okay,
So I've noticed that as well, as I'm just a little more irritable.
I see.
Um, and it's also just not like physically, I can tell it's not good for me.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you feel more irritable. Um, and tell me more about that. What are the thoughts going through your head as you're feeling this feeling?
Yeah, I just find I have less patience. Little things get me upset more than they used to,
Mhm.
um, which then causes more stress, which then has me go to typically alcohol even sooner. So that's where it's like it feels like it's kind of been a spiral.
I see. Okay, you are spiraling. And I see on your assessment that you have said that sometimes you will try to avoid alcohol by not having it around, or not being in those environments. Can you tell me more about that? What has that, how has that worked for you?
Um, Not great. I try not to just have it sitting around the house, but that's the first is like just not having it around. But typically, after work, I end up just swinging by to grab something. So even though it's not easily accessible, I find myself going out of my way to make it accessible.
I see.
And just knowing that I try to stay away from the environments, that would be, going out with my friends or,
Mhm.
the bars or that kind of stuff. Like I try to avoid those things just because I know once I start drinking, it's hard for me to stop.
Wow. Okay. So you will often try to avoid those environments, but find yourself in those situations at times still. And when you do start drinking, it is hard for you to stop. I just want to point out that recognizing that is a huge strength. And um, I believe that we can start getting you help and discuss perhaps better coping mechanisms that serve your health. And what, if we talk about your goals for this counseling, please share with me your expectations for our time together.
I don't really have much counseling experience,
Okay.
so pretty open to whatever you have in mind, but main goal is to hopefully try to find a way to handle the the stress that comes up and then the urge to go drink better, finding maybe something else to do instead that's maybe not as damaging.
Mm-hmm. Can you think of a time where you have felt a positive outlet during stress? Maybe tell me more beyond video games and exercise. What other types of things do you find to be positive outlets in your life?
Yeah, I think if I'm around the right people that can help, they can be a good influence, kind of help encourage me. So that was like really just that one friend. I really haven't told anybody else. So having him around helps, just because he's aware of it now. So
Okay.
that's been valuable, but that's also a lot to put on him, and we don't interact every day. So um
Okay.
I find myself more often than not kind of reverting back to what I was doing.
I see. So I want to challenge you. Say it's a lot to put on him, but you say you guys are also close friends. So I am feeling more connected to you as I hear you open up and share your story. Do you possibly think that your friend would appreciate hearing this side of your struggle and be willing to help you?
Yeah, I mean, he has been willing to help.
Okay,
So I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm here.
right,
Um,
right.
just I don't want him to be my counselor in some ways. Like I don't want him to feel the burden of making sure I'm okay. So, which I kind of feel like he currently has.
I see. So you don't want to burden your friend anymore. And one thing that I think I can help you with and want to explore more with you is not putting him in the role of the counselor, but we can certainly talk through some things that could put him in the role of a support person in your life and what that looks like in a way that can ensure he won't be too burdened by this struggle. And how would you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that would at least be a step in the right direction. I think he's definitely wanting to support, and he would never say that he feels burdened by it,
Mhm.
but um, I don't want to have to rely on others necessarily, especially somebody who's been my friend. Like that's not his job. So yeah, I think that balance would be helpful.
Okay, we'll talk more about that. And Marcus, I also just want to address so your fears of concerns with counseling. You say you have a concern that it won't help. Can you tell me more about that? Have you been to counseling before?
No, no, it's my first time. So that's why I don't know. Like I usually don't share a ton.
Okay,
Usually don't find just talking things through helpful. So that was where I may have had some skepticism,
I see.
but um, I also understand that uh, sometimes I need help and figured this would be a step to try.
Yeah. So you fear that talking it through won't be helpful and you are willing to try. How does it feel showing up today?
I mean, it's good to share it, at least just to tell, have somebody else that's kind of in the loop of my struggles. Because I try to keep that fairly quiet. I mean, the only reason my buddy knows is because he just noticed and he started asking about it. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's good at least just to share it initially, just have somebody to talk to about it. I think that's yeah, been maybe better than I expected.
Okay. So it does feel better than you thought it might could. Does that make you feel less hopeless?
Um, yeah. I mean, I feel hopeful that there should be a solution. Um,
Mm.
but definitely understand it's probably a long journey, long process to get to a spot where I can cope with the stresses of life and work a little better.
Yes, and I just want to normalize a lot of people feel unsure about coming to counseling and are skeptical about it, and it's their first time. And so you're not alone in feeling that way. And I'm hopeful that we can learn some really effective techniques that help you meet your goal. And I want to talk more about your goal. So we talked about having healthier coping mechanisms. And perhaps we'll do some screening, but maybe our goal could be to avoid alcohol. How are you feeling about that?
Well, that's what I've tried.
Okay,
I don't think it's been very effective so far,
I see.
but I'm open to other strategies on how to avoid other than what I've been doing.
Okay, so we will work on that together. And is there anything else that you think it'd be helpful for us to work on that can support your goal into recovery?
If there's any way to reduce stress, just in general, like not even how to handle the stress, but also just how to reduce it, that could be a potential.
Yes, I think that you're right that getting to the source of the stress can help us meet that goal. And in counseling, we want a whole person perspective of you. And so I want to know your physical self, your emotional self, your mental self, your working self. And like you're saying, your job is causing stress. And so we can talk about your working self and maybe how to decrease stressors in that environment and maybe help the urges that you do have to drink and to escape your stressful environment.
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful.
Mhm.
It's mainly from work, but obviously there's other things that come up in life that cause stress, but work just seems to be the biggest one right now.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm going to know all of that. And I see, yes, your goal down here is not using alcohol to deal with stress. So we can absolutely work towards that. And I am here to support you in what that journey looks like. Um, and so we should schedule more sessions together. How would you feel about continuing counseling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to going in the journey, seeing what else you have in mind. So yeah, I'm definitely eager to see what else you have to say.
Okay, so you're eager to begin this journey, and I think we've solidified some good goals. We can refine them as we go and continue if other things pop up, like I'm here for you and want to help you just achieve a whole wellness, whole health for all parts of yourself. And so I appreciate you just opening up and sharing your struggle. That is huge that you would come honestly and fully share the struggle that you're having. It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. So I hope that you feel more hopeful. And how does meeting sometime next week sound?
Yeah, next week's good. Yeah, whatever kind of rhythm you typically take your clients through, I'm uh I'm flexible.
Okay. So let's meet next week and we will go over some more skills, some more coping mechanisms, all that will help you reach your goal in counseling.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, Marcus, do you have any other questions for me?
Anything you need from me between now and then?
So, usually I will assign homework after the session. I don't have any homework for you now, but next week after we talk more, I will have some homework assignments that I'll assign for you, and that will just really strengthen our time in session together as you work in between sessions on the content that we are reviewing.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, Marcus, thank you for meeting today. I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.